I have my daughter Cameron, and I have my son Jonathan. They're twins. Sit up. So he just got his braces on today, so he's not feeling it right now. But I have my two kids here. My oldest is at school right now, but they were actually born in this house. So I have I'm very vested in in this neighborhood, what goes on in this neighborhood. I work for Raytheon Technology. We supply the landing gear for the F-35 fighter jets for the military. So we support the military. My wife is at work, but she does hair. She said it would be a good idea. She said we need somebody on the board who has, who's lived in the neighborhood for a long time.
Damn this traffic jam.
I'm not hard to find. I mean, if anybody knows me, I've lived at this corner for a long time. I've expressed my frustration about this corner numerous of times. I've lived in the neighborhood for 18 years now, so I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot go on with the neighborhood. My envision for the neighborhood is to attract homeowners into the neighborhood, and I think the way we can go about that is making sure that the appearance of the neighborhood is consistent. There is a stark contrast between this side of the area and when you drive through the other side of Chisholm Ridge. There's a stark contrast just in the presentation of the neighborhood and how it looks and the feeling of it. So the goal is to try to get the feeling to be the same. You shouldn't have to drive through one part of the Chisholm Ridge and think, whoa, what's wrong with this? And you drive through another one and you think, well, these people, this area is nice and well kept. The fencing's nice, the grass is cut. People care about what it looks like. This side of the neighborhood, with all the construction that has happened over here, this side of the neighborhood is now an entrance. So when you drive through here, you want this area, the fencing and the grass and everything that goes along with that to be appealing. You put the fencing in place, that's going to obviously make the entrance look better, and that gives, in my mind, maybe that's going to give the homeowners some incentive to take care of their grass, to cut the weeds, to take furniture out of their front yard that shouldn't be in the front yard. Most homeowners look at it from the standpoint of, when you have homeowners, you have people who have a vested interest in what's going on in the neighborhood. So they're going to do the maintenance. They're going to do the upkeeps. They're going to get involved with the HOA. They're going to get involved with the security part of the security aspect of the neighborhood. How do we keep the neighborhood nice? How do we control the pool aspect, the amenities of the pool, when we can't even control the constant fluctuation of people coming in and out. So we want some consistency. You don't want inappropriate behavior going on in the pool. So I think we have to find that balance of how do we ensure that the pool is open to everybody in the neighborhood, but there's not inappropriate stuff going on in there. So we have to work together and find a balance and be able to enforce that to make sure when you're there swimming, so the younger kids don't feel uncomfortable and the parents who are there with the younger kids don't feel uncomfortable. I support the rules being enforced because I think it holds people accountable. I believe that in-house problems should be kept in-house. So if you have an issue with somebody, a coworker or a constituent, you should address it with that person one-on-one or in the meeting. And you guys should work together to try to find a common ground. You may not always agree, and you may agree to disagree, but I think the overall goal for the board members, we should all have the same goal in mind, and that's to do what's best for the neighborhood. We want to invite families who want to come in here, move in here, and who take an interest in beautifying the neighborhood and making the neighborhood safe.
More and more neighborhood associations are buying these kinds of cameras.
It's been a great benefit to have the flock cameras put in place, so we can have some type of recourse in a way to track the people down who are coming in and out of the neighborhood. Everything that goes on in this neighborhood affects me directly, and it also affects my kids. So I want what's best for the neighborhood, and I just want to come, work with the people, the families that are in the neighborhood who have a vested interest in the neighborhood, You know, let's listen to their frustrations. Let's listen to their concerns. I like hearing people's frustration, and I like being able to talk about their frustration. And because what you find is when you listen to them, they tend to calm down. Most of the time they just want somebody to listen to them. And if you sit there and you listen to them and you acknowledge their frustration, and you acknowledge the fact that, hey, I understand your frustration, I understand your concern. Maybe after this meeting, me and you can sit down and we can talk more one-on-one, and let's see what do you recommend, what are some of your ideas that you recommend, so we can kind of address this, and I can bring this up in the board next in my board meeting, And when you do that and you tell them, and I'll follow back up with you, and I'll let you know what the status is and where we're going, they tend to calm down. They respect that more, as opposed to them constantly expressing their frustration and never getting a response. I am a nice guy, right?
Absolutely.